Hello, everyone. Oh. Hi, Lori. I just read what you were saying about your husband. I'm glad, though, that they're doing tests. That makes me really happy. At least they're not dismissing it, right? So I was wondering, as I was like starting everything up, I was like, I wonder if Lori's going to be here tonight. I want to know how things went and make sure that, they went how you wanted them to go. So, hello, everyone. How are you doing tonight? If you're here, let me know in chat. I am lighting our candles tonight for Witchy Wednesday. It looks like we won't get interrupted by a storm. That was awful. After we got off yesterday from Tarot Tuesday, there was lightning popping all around us. It was insanity, and I was scared that it was going to hit like our AC unit. Like that's how bad it was getting. So yesterday was pretty bad, but it's a normal, like where we live, that's kind of a normal summertime thing, is that we get these summertime storms, Some of them are okay. It's not a big deal. And some of them are absolutely the worst. And some of them will knock out our electricity. And unfortunately, it does tend to ramp up around between 4 to 8. So it may or may not interfere with, Tarot Tuesdays or Witchy Wednesdays. I hope not so much, but, can't control Mother Nature. Many a witches have tried. uh, so, Lori, you guys get the same bad weather? I don't know what area of the country you live in. I know that it seems like Louisiana and Alabama and Georgia seem to keep getting just hammered lately. So let's go ahead and light our Pride candle, right? Because June is Pride Month, and I'm an ally. So light a Pride candle, and I'm also lighting my protection candle. Now, we are going to talk about where the moon is. That was interesting. This one does not want to keep lit. I guess I've reached the bottom of the wick and didn't know it. It's okay. I always have backup. I always have a backup protection candle. So tonight we are going to talk about where the moon is, what is it doing, what can we do? Because if you notice, there's times where I'll have different colored candles lit, and it's basically my little tiny spell work. Tonight, because of where the moon is going, let's not do any spells. All right. Now, I say this for me only. If you do not believe this way, feel free to practice whatever you want. Witchcraft has no rules, y'all. Like, you do you, right? You do you. So, in looking up where tonight's moon was, tomorrow is the full moon. Okay. So, tomorrow is the full moon. And tonight, the moon goes void of course. Hey, Aaron, how are you? Tonight around 10 o'clock, the moon goes void of course. So what does that mean? And like I said, why am I not doing any spell work? Okay. The moon is changing between one planet, like it's moving between one planet and the next. In this space between the two, as the moon is traveling between the two planets, this space is a lot of chaotic energy. And even though I enjoy chaos energy, like I enjoy stormwater and working with stormwater, this energy is not something that I feel comfortable working with and pulling down. What happens a lot of times is this energy thinks on its own. You do not get to control this energy. And so when you put spell work out, when the moon is void of course, that's oftentimes when your spell doesn't go as planned. Either it just doesn't work, or the exact opposite happens of what you were wanting to happen. And that's just as bad, if not worse, as it not working, right? So when the moon is void of course, we stay away from it. So according to the Farmer's Almanac and according to the Magical Almanac, not the Farmer's Almanac, what am I talking about? Get your act together. All right. So yesterday and most of today, I say most of the day, most of the morning, the moon was in Scorpio. It has now transitioned to Sagittarius, and we are going between Sagittarius and Capricorn right now. All right. Sagittarius and Capricorn, as far as emotions go and how we feel, you might feel a little off balance right now. You might feel indecisive. Like there's just a lot and it's too much and you're overwhelmed. And that is perfectly normal feeling for when the moon is void of course. Now, it doesn't last for very long. Like I said, we are between Sagittarius and Capricorn. We are going to go void of course at 10 o'clock. So you're probably feeling some of the early effects, a little indecisiveness, maybe a little more foggy headed than usual. Maybe you're not feeling anything at all. Maybe you're just kind of like numb right now, like there's no feeling in you. And that's to do with this void of course. Again, according to the way I believe. Tomorrow morning around 8:55, 9:05 is when we switch into Capricorn. So, we've got this little between time. Take this downtime to rest. Completely rest. Void of course for me means breathe. I can just breathe tonight. I don't have to try to think about what I'm wanting to manifest. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to think about my prep work. Tomorrow is the full moon. So this is the way I look at it. It's right, especially when it's void of course right before a full moon. This is the last moment to completely fill your cup. All right. You're an energetic being. Okay. And we have spent a lot of energy prepping for whatever spell we want to do during the full moon. Right. Not to mention all the other little tiny spells that we've been, casting out there throughout the month. And I say this, and if you're not casting any spells, don't feel bad. That's perfectly okay. Okay? Don't feel bad. If you don't have a spell for the full moon, again, perfectly okay. I went years without practicing. Years without doing any spell work whatsoever. So if you don't have anything planned or you haven't been doing anything, that's fine. I'm talking to those, though, that have, and you've got something planned and you've been doing little things like writing sigils. For me, I write sigils all the time. I got into it a couple of months ago, right before I started sharing with you guys about sigil work. I now write. Hold on, I got one right in front of me. I have this little tiny coffin that I wrote a sigil on. See? What's in this coffin? My jewelry. My jewelry is in this coffin. This sigil is charged to make anything that's in this box protect the owner. So no matter what piece of jewelry I put on, it's programmed to protect me. All right? It's programmed to ward off anything that is not going to serve me. So, hey, Sarah Beth, what's up? Let's see. I want to make sure I'm reading all of your comments as we go. What's going on? Oh yeah, tonight is the full moon is the super pink or super strawberry moon. I think that's what it's also called, a strawberry moon. I was really big into understanding the full moon energy last year. I was making room sprays, moon water room sprays. Each spray was, I don't know how to explain this without using the word divine. I would meditate on the meaning of the moon, and I would meditate on what type of oils and herbs were needed for people during that full moon. And so I would create a moon spray, that you'd spray in your room, that would have a very specific purpose to it. Sold a lot of them. Sold a lot of them. But I got out of it and started doing resin work instead. So, well, we're taking tonight to rest. Okay, we are taking tonight to rest. And you know what? I said there wasn't going to be a storm, and I hear thunder in the distance. Not today. Not today. We are good until at least 8 o'clock. Right? Good until at least 8 o'clock. So we're not going to do any spell work. My candles that I have lit tonight have no spell attached to them. The only thing that's attached to them, and I kind of consider this not a part of my spell work. I consider this kind of like part of my housework, is that I have candles that are programmed to protect the house and protect the people in here. So those kind of candles are lit, but I don't consider that spell work, and it's not 10 o'clock yet. So think of Void of Course like the gremlins. Don't feed them. Don't put them in water. All right. So that's where we are with this. We're not going to do anything. You can light candles for protection, but don't manifest anything until, I would say, about 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then you're safe. You're safe. But this full moon is an interesting full moon. I will talk about it a little bit. Hold on. Let me find it. Not only is it called, I found something else in here. It's not only called the strawberry moon, but in some places it's called the oak moon. I did not know that. Make sure I'm on the right. Yep, I'm on the right one. The oak moon strengthens and endurance are dominating energies of this tree and its full moon. The mighty oak lends its strength to the land through the acorn. Many of the animals the Celts hunted for sustenance fed upon the acorns, creating a cycle of abundance that included the oak. The oak's strength runs into the magical realm as well. Oaks are traditional favorite for druids to gather among its it is even said in legend that Merlin preferred to work his magic under the oak and had his wand made of it. So this moon, according to Druid and Celtic folklore, is not called the strawberry moon, but it is called the oak moon. I wanted to talk about this particular name thing, all right? A lot of times baby witches will get books, and I am guilty of this. I am absolutely guilty of this. So if you're guilty of this, please have no shame. You'll get books and you'll see a spell that's written in it. You'll see the name of a moon, right? Oftentimes in another culture, it might be called something different. I find it important to find out what was the belief and the names for the people that I would have blood lineage to. You know, my land of creation. Like, where did our family come from? I want to know what they called it. Why? Because that's my magic. That's the magic I own. That's the magic that's in my veins. Now, there are magics, like I've asked before about, I was raised in a Mexican culture. Do I have the right to understand Mexican magic and, research it? That question is a hard question to answer. There were many, many answers to that. Many answers to that. And I have not sorted through those answers yet. But do I have the right to Celtic folklore? Yeah, I do. I do. So when you get a book like this, and you've got a spell in front of you, or you've got the name of something in front of you, go a step further. We have Google nowadays, something that older witches didn't have a whole lot of when we were first studying, and the amount of information that is out on the internet now. It is a double-edged sword. Some of it is completely accurate, and some of it is a complete work of fiction. You just got to weed through it, and you've got to see what feels good to you, right? So I wanted to bring that up. Yes, it is the strawberry moon, but it is also called the oak moon. All right? Pretty interesting to me. Grounding is something we should be doing tonight. We should be grounding ourselves. That's part of relaxing and resting. There are many, many ways to ground yourself, and there are many methods to grounding yourself. Okay. What, first off, is grounding? Grounding is, for me, to be able to explain it to you, for me, grounding is putting my spirit completely at pause with the earth. I will imagine myself not as a moving organism upon the planet, but as an organism in the planet itself. Like, I am a part of this organism. For me, that is a meditational source. And meditation is grounding to me. I can stop, I can pause myself. And that's what's grounding. It's pausing yourself. When you do that, why is it important that we do that? When you do that, when you pause yourself and you allow yourself to be completely attached, for me, to the earth, it is allowing my cup to be refilled. It's allowing my energetic cup to be refilled. Remember earlier I was talking about how we're always doing these little spells and we're draining our energy little by little. So tonight is a good night to ground ourselves and allow ourselves to be filled again from the earth, the energy from the earth. And it's also a good way of pouring the energy that maybe isn't serving us. I call it static energy, where it's too frayed. It's not smoothed down. I can't pull it too much. It's like string. I think of energy like string. Sometimes when you're sewing and you have to rethread the needle over and over again, and it's like the end of the string gets all frayed. That's energy for us. Our energy gets frayed. So sometimes you just kind of have to pull the string, maybe get a little bit of string wax and like pull so that way it becomes one string again, right? Let's see. Hey, Cindy. Oh my goodness. And Zarabeth, you love grounding. Yes, meditation is perfect. It's the only time I feel completely calm, right? Right? And I think that's what we need so desperately in this world right now, is we need that calm. Especially if you're a mom, or a parent. I'm not going to say mom because that's just being rude. If you're a parent, okay? If you're a parent and you're go, 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 right? There's no pause until the end of the day when you hit your head, on the pillow, and then you're asleep, and then the next morning you wake up and you're go, 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 right? So I think it is so important for people to take that pause, to calm every nerve. Like grounding is that thread wax, right? It allows us to kind of smooth those frayed edges. So, oh, I love grounding. And Cindy, do not feel bad about being late at all. No problem. But yeah, as parents, we desperately need, and I think as it's no longer just parents either. I've seen a lot of young people who don't have families. I say families, children, they might have a spouse, and that's not taking away from them at all. But like, they don't have young children. I guess that's a better way of saying it. They don't have young children, and they are still feeling this frayed energy. So how do you ground? There's meditation methods. There's plenty of meditation methods that you can go and look at. Couple of my favorites. All right. One has to do with a favorite crystal. I love amethyst, partly because I'm an Aquarius, So amethyst, right? um, so I love amethyst, and amethyst is always been a protector and has always been a calming crystal for me. There are crystals that are specifically said to calm your vibration. Whatever crystal, and I'm from the book of whatever crystal you've picked up and it makes you feel good to hold it, that's the crystal you're vibrating to. Okay? That's the crystal that you need to hold. So for me, part of my grounding would be this. Now, before I had crystals, I was lucky enough to, like, when I was really, really little, I had a amethyst about this size that I had mined somewhere, right? So I'd have always had amethyst somewhere around me. But if you don't, guess what? It's completely okay. It is completely okay. The other things that I will hold in my hand if I am standing in the house, not if I'm outside. If I'm outside, I'm going to ground a totally different way, and we will get to that, okay? But if I'm in the house, say it's raining, and I need to ground, it's too late at night. I live in a bad neighborhood. I'm not going outside. So I need to ground inside, right? So these are ways, getting your favorite crystal. Maybe you got a seashell that you like, right? Maybe you have a piece of driftwood that's your favorite. Maybe you've got a green thumb and you've got a little plant, right? I'm so surprised I haven't killed this guy yet. He's so cute. Right? So we're going to ground holding this plant. Okay? When I ground, I'm going to get myself as still as I possibly can, as comfortable as I possibly can. I will typically ground sitting in a chair, or I'll stand up. Okay? But this right here, this little guy has energy. Is it okay if I borrow your energy for right now? I'll give it back. You want a crystal? Okay. All right. So I just asked, and I know it seems very crazy, and yes, it is absolutely ridiculous talking to plants. It's what I do, though. So I just asked, do you mind sharing your energy with me? Just need to borrow it for a bit. This little guy wants a crystal. He doesn't have a crystal, and his brothers and sisters in here all have crystals, so he's been feeling left out. So I got to get him a crystal. But I'm going to hold him. And I'm going to breathe very slowly in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I'm going to imagine my feet. My feet are growing roots right now. They're long, long roots coming out of my feet. I've got tap roots. You know, those trees, big trees have tap roots, a thick root that goes from the bottom of the tree all the way deep into the earth, all right? So you're growing a tap root with your feet right now, okay? And you're sending that root all the way down, and you're going to give the energy you don't want to this little guy. I know. That's sad, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not bad energy right now. So I'm going to give this little guy the energy I don't want. Why? Because he's embedded in earth and he can spread it out through his roots. Now, mind you, he's a little guy. I'm not giving him a whole lot. If I need to give away a lot of energy, I'll show you what to do. I'm going to give this guy some of my energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold him in my hand, and I'm going to imagine all the negative thoughts that I have and all the negative feelings that I have. It's black smoke, black and gray smoke. And I see it surging down my arms and into my hands and into the plant. And the plant is taking it in and burying it in its soil. So grounding is a very visual thing for me. I'm imagining energy being given away that doesn't serve me, and I'm imagining drawing in energy that will. Very specific energy I want too, right? And that depends on what you need at that time. So this is an indoor way. If you had a crystal, same thing as the little plant, you'd hold it in your hand and you'd imagine all that smoke, all that stuff being put into this crystal. Because then tomorrow I can take this crystal and I can put it on the windowsill and I can let the full moon cleanse it and charge it back up for me, right? So those are the things that you can do inside. Oh, you fell over on the job, little one. What happened? Did I knock you over? Okay. I'm the crazy plant lady, guys. I always talk about things. Talking to plants is important. That's right. We give them carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. So it makes both of us feel better. Hey, Lilith, what's up? You snuck in on me. What's up? I'll be here, but away from the fun. That's no problem, Cindy. I've got my amethyst bracelet on. Yeah. Like that's, I don't know. I'm a big thing into amethyst. Like I said, whenever I feel afraid, Lilith, and need to ground, I always wear that necklace. Oh, you do? I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder, like, how that went. If that was helpful for you at all. I also use obsidian balls to absorb my negative energy. Yes. Yes. Obsidian is great for absorbing negative energy. So if you want to use obsidian in this grounding exercise, that's perfect. It's really, it's also something that if you, I don't want to say program a crystal because I don't think I use the word program, but it's not really like programming, right? I'm saying like for, I ask. Programming to me is asking. So I'm going to ask the obsidian, hey, do you mind that only your job is to take my negativity? And then I would wear it around my neck. Okay. So for me, a lot of my practice is asking and talking and feeling the vibration of everything else. Yes, I look crazy. I know I look crazy. I know to some that this is absolutely ridiculous. I talk to trees, I talk to plants, I talk to crystals. Sometimes I talk to them in my head. It's like, it's just part of my practice, right? I don't view what I do any differently than, say, people who are praying at a meal in a public space. You know, like you're praying, you're talking over your food. I'm talking to my plants, right? I know I love rocks, and that's another thing that, as far as when we're looking for things to ground us indoors, don't just look at, oh, that's a crystal, that's pretty, that's what I want, or that's a plant that's pretty, that's what I want. No, sometimes there are going to be things that are just weird, and you're going to be like, I kind of like that. Like there's going to be a rock that's just odd, and you're like, I kind of like that. I think I have a couple of them. I do. I have like a piece of coral that's not even, it's not pretty. It's bleached out, obviously, because it's dead. It's bleached out. It's not pretty bleached out either. There's splotches on it. It's just not a pretty piece of coral. It's broken. But to me, it means a lot. To me, I love holding it. To me, for whatever reason, when I hold it, I feel home. I feel comfort. So don't think just because it's not aesthetically pleasing that it's not good for grounding. What's good for grounding is whatever you like, whatever feels comfortable to you, whatever brings that space and that pause to your soul. Okay. The other way that I ground is outside. I prefer grounding outside. There are a couple of methods that I use. One of them is quite literally hugging a tree. Quite literally hugging a tree. I wrap my arms around the tree after asking the tree, do you mind sharing your energy with me and taking some away? I ask that every time, you know, and have I been told no by a tree? Yes, I have. But I I will hold onto the tree. I'll put my hands on the tree. And again, my feet on the ground. And I prefer being barefoot. And this is really odd for my family that I will be barefoot on the ground. Because I have a thing about my feet being clean. Like, my feet have to be clean all the time. Like, I can't have my feet dirty. Something gets on them and I get sick. Like, oh, I can't. Okay, I'm going to make myself throw up just thinking about it. Okay. So it really freaks them out that I can go outside and I'm barefoot on the grass, on the plants that are beneath my feet, right? I am barefoot there. And I imagine my feet growing roots, long taproot, into the soil. And my hands, as they are wrapped around that tree, I feel the tree giving me the energy that it has grown and sharing. And I feel it pulling from other trees, and the other trees are sharing with it, because trees share energy with each other. Look that up. That's mind-blowing right there. It's a scientific fact. Trees share energy and they share food. So I asked them, share some with me. So by holding on to that tree and stilling myself and being next to the tree and just imagining my breath and the visuals of the energy exchange, I'm able to pause my world and be one with the earth for just a moment. And that's grounding. That's simple. Grounding. All right. There are multiple methods. There are some people that ground by dancing. I have seen that, and that is beautiful. I do dance when I'm happy. If you ever go out to eat with me, or if you ever see me eating, I like the food. If I'm like, oh yeah, my happy dance food. So I dance for happiness. There are people that dance for grounding. They lose themselves in the music and in the movement of their bodies, and they pause themselves to the earth for that just moment in time through their movement and sound. And I find that unbelievably beautiful and freeing, and I would love to try it one day. I have yet to be able to release myself from the thought of what I'm doing. I am always just on the cusp of like doing some free movement, and then I realize how cringy I might look. Nobody's watching me. And that brings me back. So it's a practice. It's a big practice. I don't like... sticky hands. Okay, you guys are talking about that. Jay is a magpie. I am vulture, but we both love rocks. I'm pretty sure I'm a crow at this point, because I like shiny things and I like to bring random stuff in. I'm pretty sure I'm a crow. I'll start having, if my hands are sticky. Yes. No. I get that. I just get very nauseated if I find something on my feet. I get really sick. It's no good. But those are methods that I use to ground. There are people that will get into arts and crafts, and that's where I'm going to share with you as far as arts and crafts grounding. It is very unusual to ground yourself in this method. The methods that I shared with you in the beginning are very typical witch methods. You can open up almost any witch book and look up grounding, and those are the types of things they're going to tell you to do. Okay? Other ways to ground, though. Grounding for me, like I said, is the pause. I am not thinking of the next day. I'm not thinking of yesterday. I'm not thinking of anything. I am paused. And I am rejuvenating my soul. I'm giving myself energy and releasing energy. There's a couple of ways that I do that through crafting. One, I paint. And when I paint, It's stuff like that. It's very chaotic. I don't know what I'm going to paint. I grab a canvas and I just start slinging colors on it. And I figure it out. By doing that, I am lost in a moment. I am not planning step by step. I am lost in a moment. I am feeling the here and now. So painting allows me to ground myself. It allows me to pause my ego, right? Because I'm in this, oh, this would be cool. This would be cool. This would be cool. I'm not thinking of what other people would think of me. I'm just thinking of the next, like, this color. Let me put this color down. Oh, I like that color. You know, it'll look good, that color, this color, right? That's what I'm doing. I need to get a jar for Jay to drop his shiny objects in. Oh my God, that would be funny, Aaron. I like that idea. I should do that for my classroom. In the beginning of the school year, call it Miss M's crow's jar. And like, kids find something in the hallway that's shiny and they're just like, Dink, I found a gum wrapper and it was silver. It's pretty. Okay, put it in there. See what they come up with. Oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm so doing it. Y'all, I'm going to take a before and after picture. I'm doing it. Thanks, Aaron. I keep trying to reach them. One of the things that I like to do to ground, and Zarabeth, you mentioned this earlier, was meditate. And that is a very traditional way of grounding yourself, is to slow your breathing, and to just hear this here inside you. Now, I heard somebody earlier on TikTok, a creator, and I'm so sorry, I do not remember the creator's name. I wish I would have remembered the creator's name now. But she was talking about how people with ADHD, they're always like, I can't meditate. And people are like, oh, you just got to slow your mind. And people with ADHD are like, I can't do that. I can't slow my mind. And she had a very valid point. She says the act of trying to stop your focus and constantly refocus your brain to your breathing, that is the act of meditation. That's why they say I practice meditation, because it happens to all of us. Something grabs our focus and we have to, oh, nope, breath, right? So I thought that was an interesting thing, that there's a whole slew of people that have been told they cannot meditate because of the way that their brain is on overdrive. And the woman was simply like, no, this is practicing meditation. We all practice. You got this. Keep practicing. And I was like, oh, so cool. Yes. Keep going. Let's see. He works on a printing press and comes home with random. Oh my gosh, Aaron, do you know that is like a maker's dream? Like, if I had a random box of odds, and I do have a random box of odds in it. Never mind. Sorry. I have old CDs sitting here because I'm going to make something out of them. No, I don't know what I'm going to make. Oh, but yes. Aaron, I would love that. All these little odds and ends. You plan on making an I Spy table? Oh my gosh, that would be epic. Oh, I love that idea, Aaron. Cindy, did you hear Aaron's idea? She's going to make an I Spy table with all the odds and ends that her significant other brings home. I'm so excited. Aaron, if you do this, if you build this, I need pictures. Okay? I may or may not buy it. CDs, yeah, so you save them too. I'm like, I don't know why I have them. I don't know what's going on. I also have like random tens. Like random, there's nothing in this. But I keep random tens because I'm like, oh, I can make something with it. I haven't done it yet. That's why my craft room looks like it does. It's just a hodgepodge of everything in here. Yeah, Aaron, Lilith, that's where I am. I've got art everywhere, and we are quickly running out of space, but our home has been kind of decorated to look like an oddity shop, so the more stuff we put in, the more that kind of feel is right. So grounding, though, it can be done through these types of crafts. You are no longer thinking of outside world, and you are deriving happiness from this creation, right? Hopefully you're deriving happiness from the creation. I know a lot of people who knit, they get into the counting or the crocheting, they'll get into the counting of it. And that is a repetitious thing that'll allow them to ground. So when you see a post or you see a video or you see a book and it talks about traditional grounding methods, do not feel like you are boxed in by that method, okay? That is not the end all be all of methods. If you're practicing witchcraft, there's no rules. This is you. This is how you are attached to the universe. This is how you are attached to the earth. This is how you are attached to the energy, These books are good guidelines and good inspiration, but you know your energy. Your energy was built differently than everybody else's. Your energy has seen different things. It has different perspectives. So what will make you ground yourself? What is it that's going to allow you to pause, breathe, and get the energy that you need and release the energy that you don't need? Like I said, I've seen people dance, and that's a great release of energy, right? You can push that energy out, and you can get the energy in with that movement and those stretches, and you can feel the energy moving through your body. That's empowering, right? But if I did that, I'd be down for the count for 3 days. My body can't expend that kind of energy. So my energy is quiet. My energy is rooted in nature. My energy is rooted in creativity because that's who I am. So when we're talking about grounding, remember who you are. What will help you? Just because I paint doesn't mean that's going to help you. Just because I hug a tree and talk to plants, that doesn't mean that's going to help you. Who are you? What do you believe? And what best serves your energy? Okay? That's what you need to know in order to ground. Grounding is just simply the quieting of one's soul, pausing for that moment, and feeling the oneness with the earth, releasing energy you do not need, and gaining the energy that you do. Okay? That's all that grounding is. So do not think that just because you don't do it the way everybody else has done it, you're valid. Okay? Keep doing your grounding method the way you want to. Next week, we need a new Witchy Wednesday topic. We have gone through the moon. We have gone from full moon to full moon. So we have gone through the moon. You now understand, like, if you've gotten one of these or if you've gotten one of these, you know how to read them. Now you understand certain things. If you've gotten one of these planners, one of the best things that I love about these planners is that it will actually tell you what all those symbols mean at the beginning of one of these planners. So if that is something that interests you further on, make sure you pick up one of these. And again, remember, if you're picking up books, read the book, study the elements that are in there, and find out where they're from. Is that Does that make you feel good? Right? Is that something that you are connected with? Right? Um, I love the voodoo hoodoo aesthetic. Love it, right? It's so pretty, right? Love that aesthetic. But that is not my magic to practice. I have no claim to that magic. So I can love it, I can think it's beautiful, I can look at the rituals and I can admire the way that maybe certain things are used alike between the cultures, but that's not my culture. That's not my magic. I don't get to practice that. Okay. So if I'm reading a book and the ritual or the spell has to do with voodoo or hoodoo magic, I can admire it. That is not mine to practice. And that is my belief. If you do not believe that way, that's fine. You do you, boo. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care, right? That's how I feel, though. So when I'm reading a book and it's got a ritual, I'm always going to look up its roots. I'm going to look to see, where is this coming from? Was that always the case? Absolutely not. That's been within the last 2 years that I really started paying attention to that. All right. And I don't want somebody to have to go through that long before somebody tells them. So I'm telling you now. Right? It took a long time for somebody to go, "Hey, did you find out where that came from?" Nope. Oh, I probably need to. All right. Not runes. What are you guys talking about? RuneScape? Are you guys talking about RuneScape over here? Is that what I'm saying? The landlord gave me a 200 full of burned stuff. What? Oh, so like just CDs. Okay. I was like, what's going on? Huh? I need to pay attention to chat tonight. I got overly excited about grounding and about making sure all of us have paused tonight. If you were joining late, and you didn't get the first beginning, because we're getting towards the end of this one, if you didn't get the beginning, the moon is going to go into what's called void of course around 10 o'clock. It will come out of that around 9:30 tomorrow morning. All right. During the time when the moon is void of course, that means it's between two planets. It's traveling between two different planets. We're going between Sagittarius and Capricorn, I believe it was. By Friday, we'll be in Aquarius. Our moon will be in Aquarius. So when it is between this, when it's between planets, the energy again is a little iffy. It's not energy that I'm comfortable with. I'm not going to do any spell work with it tonight. Tonight I wouldn't even gather full moon water. Like I would not get water tonight. Not happening. All right. You can get water before a full moon and after the full moon. Like you can do that. But I ain't doing it tonight. No. Because the energy that is going to come from that is going to be too chaotic. It won't work for the things that I want it to work with. So I am not going to do anything besides ground myself tonight. And that's why we were talking about grounding. Okay. Yes, and harm none. Lori, that is, from my understanding and the research I've done, that is a very Wiccan saying, right? If you're not Wiccan, maybe that wouldn't apply to you. But in the same breath, I've done a lot of religious studies, and it seems like all religions have this, do no harm kind of thing. Like do as to others as you would do unto yourself, right? Like the golden rule. Almost every religion has some type of golden rule that promotes goodness. I think there are a few that don't. I know that even like I know the Satanic Temple gets like a lot of crap, and they shouldn't. Their tenets are pretty good, actually. Like they're not bad. And even they are this kind of like harm none. They even have this harm none kind of stance, and that is something that if you were raised Christian in the South, that is something you wouldn't even think about. Like, I would have never thought that they would have had that harm none. I would have thought they had that do as they will, but I would have never thought they would have had the harm none in there, and they do. So I've found that most religions have this kind of like do as you will, harm none kind of value to it. Yep, it is part of the Wiccan Read, right, Lori? Harm none. I first studied Wicca when I went into witchcraft, and so a lot of my ways um, are Wiccan inspired until I learn better, if that makes sense. It was like Wicca was formulaic for me. It was a way for me to understand exactly everything in here instead of trying to learn it by intuition alone. And so that's what I have to accredit Wicca with. It was very, very powerful for me to be able to understand elements in a way that was very simple and succinct, especially coming from Christianity where you had that type of, outline and formula. So I liked Wicca and their ability to help beginning witches learn witchcraft. So I have nothing against Wicca. I know some witches do. Some witches have like, okay, I know some things are a little sketch, but not everything, people. Everything can be sketch. Even the stuff we practice, right? If we look at what we do, that's the thing that gets me upset, guys. I will say this. I'm going to say this and I'm going to try. I am not a fan of organized religion, but that's me based on the events that happened in my life. Okay? So the things that I say about any organized spirituality, if it comes off harsh, I apologize. That is not my intentions. But it is one of those things where trauma still needing to be healed, right? So because of that, I think my idea on spirituality and religious beliefs are a little different than most people. So I practice differently. You guys have had different experiences. You're going to practice differently. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt and do your own research. That's the biggest thing. Do your own research. Do your own research. Do your own research. Right? Let's see. Who else is in there? Smartphones. Okay. We're still talking about RuneScape over here? All right, my loves. It is 8 o'clock. Almost. It's time to go. We've got another week in front of us, right? Another week in front of us. Tonight, we are going to pause. We are going to ground ourselves. We are not going to put any energy out. We are going to keep our energy in, and we're going to ask to have our cups refilled. Okay? That's what tonight is. Tomorrow night is the oak moon. It is the strawberry moon. It's a super moon. Right? So tomorrow night with the moon's energy, believe in yourself. Tomorrow night's moon is all about you. It's all about belief in yourself, the strength you have, things that you've endured, things that you have fought against and have won. That gives you power. So tomorrow, whatever you decide to do with the energy that you are given, do it with authenticity, do it with power. All right, my lovelies? All right. I'm not a fan of, yep. Yes, the individuality of it all. Exactly, Zarabeth. Standing in your own truth, right? Standing in your own truth. Oh, I love y'all so much. You guys make this important to me. And I love you. And thank you for showing up each and every Tuesday and Wednesday for me. Thank you for supporting me. All right. Blessed be, my lovelies. And I hope you have a beautiful week next week. I'll see you for Tarot Tuesday. Okay. Bye.